Hi guys, I'm back with a new video today. It's a little bit different than the other videos that I've done so far on my channel. This is going to be an eyeshadow palette collection video. I don't have a huge collection, but it's more than the average person needs, to be honest. And I just placed an order for two of the new Ace Beauty palettes that have launched. I ordered Paradise Fallen and I ordered, I believe Classical Paradise was the other one I ordered. And since I have those two palettes coming in, I wanted to go through my collection and kind of clear out things that I'm not using and give those away, or if they're really, really old, maybe just toss them. Basically, I'm just going to go through, talk about each of the palettes I have, what I like about them, or maybe what I don't like about them, and then get rid of a few of them. So kind of combination collection video and then declutter video. Let's just get right into it because there's quite a bit to talk about. Don't want to waste time. So I'm going to start with the smaller palettes I have. I have 5 small palettes. One of them is technically a duo. That's my Nars Duo in Isolde. I love this so much and I'm never getting rid of it. It's like very just orangey bronze tones. It's two of them. One of them is a bit brighter and more orange, and the other one is more brown. But they make a really beautiful kind of combination. I'm never getting rid of that ever. The next one that I have is the Tartelette Tease palette. This I'm going to get rid of. I'm not crazy about this, to be honest. I got it to just test out Tarte shadows before, and I got it probably like 2 years ago also at this point, just to test out before I bought a full-size one. And it's okay. I like the quality of, so I feel like the quality between this and the quality of the full-size palettes is different, to be honest, because now I do have, you'll see later, I have one of the full-size ones. And I'm just not crazy about any of the colors in this. I have, the only color that I'd maybe want to keep this for would be this like deep purpley color. And I have another palette that has purples in it that I like better. So I'm going to get rid of this one. The next small palette I have is this Kevyn Aucoin one, which I have had for 6 years, to be honest. My dad, sometimes when he goes away for work or like goes to parties for work, he'll get gift bags. And sometimes he'd get like beauty products and stuff in them that he'd give to my mom, who would then never use them because she's not really into this kind of stuff. So she gave me this palette about 6 years ago. And honestly, like, I don't use it very often, but the colors in here are really unique. And it's Kevyn Aucoin. And who knows, maybe I'll use them now that I'm like opening it up again and like looking at it. I'm gonna keep it. Maybe I'll use it soon. The next one that I have is Smashbox Full Exposure palette, the travel size. And honestly, I really like this. I know some people don't really like Smashbox shadows, and their trios I'm not crazy about, but I like these ones, even the mini ones. And this is just like kind of the really perfect kind of neutral eyeshadows that you could use for kind of really easy, simple, everyday makeup, or if you're doing makeup on somebody for a film or a TV show, just like if it's a character that doesn't wear makeup, this is perfect. That bottom row is just pretty much all the colors you'd need for that. And if you're a really simple bride, this would probably be good for bridal makeup also. And I'm keeping that for sure. The last small palette I have is this Wet n Wild one of the new quads in the shade Petalette. And it's the purple toned one. And I really like the quality of these small ones. This shade right here, this like metallic lilac, is so unique. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I don't know if you can really see it. There it is right there. It's so pretty. And then this really deep plum is also beautiful. And it's like I'd say it's kind of like a satin finish. It's not a full matte, but you can use it in your crease and to deepen up things just fine, and it's really pretty. So I'm definitely keeping that, and I love it. We're gonna stick with drugstore. The next palette I have is the CoverGirl TruNaked in the Goldens. So this was the one with the gold tones and kind of olivey tones, and I really like this. I'm gonna keep this. These are really, really nice shadows. And then it's got, like, I love the green tones in here. There's really nice, like, couple really nice, like, golden bronzy tones, and then this, so soft. I love the way these feel. And then there's a really nice, just like neutral crease tone for somebody with my skin tone, at least. Like, you're not really going to be able to see the swatch. It's this top one right here, but it's just such a pretty color for just an easy transition. And I really like the quality of it. So the next palette I have is the Milani, one of these guys, their Everyday Eyes collection in number 3 Smoky Essentials. I don't typically go for like gray and blue, like really deep blue eye looks, but if I was going to, this would definitely be the palette I'd use. It's really affordable and the quality of the shadows is really nice. This kind of like gray blue one is really gorgeous. You can see that right there. It's really pretty. And then the brighter blue, still deep, but it's a more bright color, is also quite pretty. And I like, look at that, it's so pretty. Yeah, I'm keeping this. I may not do blue smoky eyes very often, but when I do, this is really easy to work with, and the quality of the shadows is really nice. The last drugstore palette I have is the Blush Nudes palette from Maybelline. This was a gift from a friend, which is why I feel really bad saying that I'm not a fan of this palette. I do not like the shadows at all. They're very chalky, not pigmented at all. And I'm not somebody who like needs a shadow to be like super pigmented. I'm down with a wash of color, but even for these, like it's really just underwhelming. Like that's just like, what's the point? You can't even see that. This is actually probably like the best one in the palette. This one's okay, but it's like still not great. And there's right next to it, there's like kind of an olivey gunmetal color that I wish was better. And it's just so underwhelming. I don't know. I'm just underwhelmed by this whole palette in general. And also most of these are shimmers. There's one matte in here, and the matte is probably the most disappointing of all the shades, and it just does not work for me. I'm also just underwhelmed by the color story in it too. Like the blushed nudes, like I would expect more rose gold tones in here with something like that, and like I would expect more neutral too. This is a very cool tone palette, and when you say blushed nudes, like yes, it's a little pink, but it's like rose gold. That's like kind of what I get when I think of when I hear that, and it's just not what I get from this palette at all. I don't look at this and immediately come up with cool ideas for eye looks with it, so sorry Maybelline. As much as I feel bad about it, I'm getting rid of this one. The next palette I'm going to show you is this guy right here. This is not completely eyeshadow. This is kind of an eyeshadow and face palette from Kevyn that I ordered in the winter VIB sale like 2 or 3 years ago now. And I'm not getting rid of this either. The contour shade in here and then the highlighting powder are really beautiful. And then the colors in there for eyeshadows and everything. The quality of the powders is just so nice and smooth and really easy to work with. So I'm going to keep that as well. The next palette I have is this Sephora palette that was in collaboration with Pantone a couple years ago when it was the kind of periwinkle blue and the like pastel pink color. And this palette I have very complicated feelings about. There are a lot of really cool, interesting shades in here. But like some of them are really, like the shimmers in here I'm not really a fan of. The mattes I like way better. But even then I only like the bottom row plus the bottom row minus that last one because it's like one of those mattes with the sparkle through it and I don't understand those kinds of colors. Actually, let's swatch that. Let's see what that looks like swatched. Yeah, I just don't understand. Like when you swatch it, it really just looks like a matte. So I don't understand what the point of putting sparkle in it is. So like I like this last row minus that blue sparkle. And then this kind of like peachy coral right here and the periwinkle blue here. But otherwise, I don't know. Like I wish the pastels packed more punch, but the pastels really don't either. Like the pink and the teal up there look the same when I swatch them. So I'm probably going to try and depot the ones that I do like and get rid of the rest of this because I don't use it except for those like few colors that I mentioned. So it's unfortunate, but I'm going to figure that out. If anybody has any recommendations for like Z palettes that aren't Z palette brand that are small that would fit one of these, that would be really helpful. Just put it in the comments below. And up next, I have the Tartelette Toasted palette. Just full disclosure, this was the last thing I purchased from Tarte when like not long after it came out, and as much as their skin products work for me, because I have like kind of complicated combination oily, somewhat sensitive skin that's quite fair. And so I have had good luck with their skin products working for me in the past, but they just, I can't do it. It's really unfortunate because I do think that the quality of the products is high, but it's just the exclusionariness of the brand I'm just not a fan of anymore. But I'm not going to get rid of this because I did buy it, I did spend my money on it, and I do like it. If you are a fan of warm neutrals, it's a great palette. There is one of those really obnoxious matte shades with sparkle in it, but I guess you can knock off the sparkle really easily and just use it as like a crease color. But the rest of these, I'm a fan of it, and I kind of hate myself a little bit for saying that, but I am going to keep that. And then the last two palettes I own are the Modern Renaissance from Anastasia and then the Subculture from Anastasia. Modern Renaissance I use like when I use eyeshadow. I tend to go for this just because I love the tones in this, like how warm but interesting they are. It's not like a boring warm palette. And the pinks in this are really nice. Vermeer is a beautiful kind of either inner corner highlight, or you can even use it on your face. I've used it on my face before. I love this palette. I find that it's really user-friendly personally. Blends really easily. Just looking at it, you can come up with so many different looks, and I think that's awesome. Yeah, I don't really know what else I can say about it because it's the Modern Renaissance palette. Most people enjoy this, I feel like. So I'm definitely keeping that. And then, oh shit, have I only gotten rid of two? And then, so the Subculture palette is actually what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. I felt like since I was gonna do an eyeshadow video, I should do something cool with my eyes. And I'm in the small percentage of people that actually really enjoys this palette. That's not to say I find it easy to work with. You definitely need to take your time and be very careful with the shadows and how you blend them. But personally, I really like it. When you do take that time, I don't have issues with it. I think the color story is still one of the most interesting color stories I've seen for a palette before. And I find it really easy to think of ideas for looks to do. Like today I have Edge all in my inner corner. I kind of pulled up to my brow bone a bit. And I did All Star right next to that in the crease, and then Axis on the end for this kind of like wing situation. And I kind of did the same underneath. And then I used Electric. First I put Untamed all over my lid, and then I used Electric over top of that, and then in the inner corners and kind of up, I did a bit of a thing, sparkly thing there over Edge. And I find Electric and Cube to be really cool shades because they aren't like shadows like the rest of the ones in this palette. They're definitely more toppers, and they work nicely wet in addition to dry, but they look the coolest. And I'm pretty sure the purpose for these shadows too is to be used over the other shadows in the palette because it gives them really cool dimension, because it's a really neat kind of reflective, I wouldn't necessarily say duochrome, but like slightly duochrome. Like Electric is golden and green, and then Cube is white and pink with a smidge of like purple in there also. I think it's a good palette. Like I said, you have to have patience to work with it, but I enjoy it, and I think this is a pretty cool look. Guys, so that was my eyeshadow palette collection. This is what I'm getting rid of, minus, you know, those few select shades in that Sephora one. This is what I am keeping. Like I said, it's not a huge collection. I just wanted to kind of pare it down a little bit before I get these two new palettes in. And once I get those palettes in, I do want to do a video where I do a look with each of them, try and figure out how to put a picture of the two that I'm getting up here. You'll know if it works out or not, but I will try. But yeah, I'm really excited to get those palettes, and I have plenty of space in here for them now, which is nice. I will definitely put up a video using those palettes when I get them, and I hope that you enjoyed the rest of this video and kind of my thoughts on these palettes. Don't forget to like or subscribe if you liked what you saw. Have a great day. Bye.